Welcome to day 33 of the Lent 101 series. The topic for today is the sin of not paying tithes.
Morning star, morning star, we welcome you. He's the root and the offspring of David, the father and the son of the morning star.
So we're going to get right into this. What is tithe? How do we pay tithe? And why is it a sin if we don't pay tithe? So let's start by tackling what tithe is. So tithe, to the best of my understanding, is 10% of what you earn and you're meant to give it to the church. So that was me. I'm going to go to what the Bible has to say. So what does the Bible say about tithe? And let's look at the earliest time, which is Genesis 28:22. And what it says, and the stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all of thou that shall give me, I shall surely give a tenth unto thee. So I was correct. Do you get me? I was correct in giving 10% of your earnings back to the house of God, back to God. And it's a sin not to do this because this is something that he's told us to do right from the jump. He's told us not only that we need to be going to church and going to places to congregate in his name, he's telling that we also need to support that congregation. We also need to feed that congregation. And if every member of that congregation was to feed 10% of their earnings, that congregation will be fruitful, they will glow, they will thrive, God's temple will be grand. In going back, not that far back, but back in the days, I can imagine they build monumental temples, churches that reach the skies. Like, these are the type of gestures that come from the 10% of tithes of each member. So I believe that what God is saying is that it's a sin not to contribute to building God's house. So we're going to get a bit deeper into it by looking at more verses, but I just wanted to get that general consensus of what the tithe is doing. The tithe is bringing, if not food, but bringing nutrients to the house of God, to the temple of God. And that's how I feel like it needs to be viewed. Because a lot of the time people view it as, oh, you need to give money. But it's never, money throughout these verses that I'm going to come through is never mentioned. They actually refer to taking your harvest, the best of your harvest at that. Taking 10% of the best harvest and presenting it before God. That's back in the day where they used to do offerings and burnt offerings and all of that stuff. So what God is really saying is that we need to bring something fruitful, 10% of the fruitful things you have. And I want you to bring that to the temple of God. So I know a lot of us may not be blessed monetary, but we still have fruitful things to give. And if it's not money, we still need to give that 10% of the fruitful incomes in which we have. And that is what's going to stir us away from committing the sin of not paying tithe. Let's read another passage. So I'm going to look at Leviticus 27:30, and it reads, and all the tithe of the land, whether the seed of the land, whether the fruit of the tree is the Lord's, it's holy unto the Lord. So again, this is referring to back in the day what they had to offer. They didn't have pounds, US dollar, kobo, naira, whatever you want a currency you use. They didn't have that back in there, but there was a universal currency, which is the fruit of the land. And what God is saying is that they took the fruits back in those days, they took 10% and offered it back to God. Because at the end of the day, as it's saying in Leviticus, it was God's in the first place. We're just giving back to God to show our appreciation for what he's given to us. And I feel like that's a fair payoff in a sense that God gives you 100%. We just give him back 10%. It's like, okay, God, I remember you gave it to me. This is not mine. I didn't make it. So let me just give this back to you just so you know that I appreciate you. It's not that he needs it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all he's in the first place, if you get what I'm trying to say. So fundamentally, the giving of tithe, it isn't necessarily important to God because it's already God's. What it's trying to show is that you keep God in mind in every single action. And I know when it comes to money, they say the love of money is the root of all evil. I believe like this ties in so beautifully. It's like God already knew that man is going to love money so much that we're going to get lost in it and do whatever it is we can do. That's why the love of it is the root of all evil. But he's saying you can't love it that much if you're ready to give 10% of it. If you get what I'm trying to say. And I'm not trying to persuade anyone to pay tithe or not pay tithe. That's all on you. This is your reflection. I'm trying to give you my interpretation of how God could test us. And this is the perfect test. If you don't love money, you could give that 10% of that easily. But if you're so in love with money and you need every single dime of what comes into you, of course you can't give onto God. Because you love it so much, you can't give, even 1% you can't give away. So I feel like if you look at it from this lens, everything is God's. And to prove how much you love God, you're going to give 10% back to him. It just shows that you still have God in your thoughts. Whether or not you don't go to church or you do whatever, it's like you still have that thought that I need to give back to God. And I pray that you guys are still going to church and stuff, by the way. I guess in this lockdown, we can't go to church, but we're still watching the Morning Star London online. But that aside, is that we need to give back to church. Let me look at the book of Malachi 3:8. It says, will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offering. So I guess it kind of just emphasizes the point that this is all God's. And God wants what he said he wants. And he said he wants that 10% of all of these things. And it's like, if you don't give it to him, you're robbing God. And we can't rob God because, like, who are we fooling? This is the person that could not just kill your body, could kill your soul. And I don't think we should be playing those games there. So fundamentally, let's just give unto God what is God's. The same way to give unto Caesar what is Caesar. Let's give unto God what is God's. I hope with those 3 short Bible verses, you're able to get an understanding of what tithe is and whether or not we should be paying. And that's up to you to do a bit more research just to put yourself in the best possible situation to make sure that you're doing what's right in the eyes of God. Not paying tithes is a sin and we should try our best to avoid it. This has been another day. Thank you for listening. Again, thank you for joining us on day 33 of the Lent 101 series. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at the Morning Star London, where we'll be uploading daily videos to support you in your Lenten season. Thank you and stay blessed.